I'm a 34-year-old guy. My wife, Isabella, and I were together for almost 6 years, married for 4. She was my sun. You know those women who walk into a room and instantly draw everyone's attention? That was her. Smart, beautiful, wickedly charming. I was completely in love. And maybe that's what blinded me. She worked as a freelance photographer. Her schedule was chaotic: shoots during the day, client meetings in the evening, art gallery events on weekends. I thought it was cool. Independent woman doing her thing. Meanwhile, I worked a regular 9 to 5 in IT. Safe. Predictable. So when she said she had a night shoot or a client dinner, I didn't question it. Why would I? But over time, those nights started piling up. More late meetings. More phone calls she took in another room. More vague answers to simple questions. And then came the first red flag. One night, she said she had an event to shoot downtown and wouldn't be back until late. She came home close to midnight, visibly tired, irritated. I reached out to hug her like I always did. She flinched, said she just wanted to sleep. No kiss, no warmth, just cold distance. My gut twisted, but I ignored it. Maybe she was just exhausted, right? The next morning, she was all smiles again. Sitting at the kitchen table, eating a croissant, scrolling through Instagram like nothing had happened. And that smile, that carefree energy, felt fake. But I couldn't prove it. So I swallowed my doubt. Now, looking back, I think deep down I wanted to be lied to. I didn't want to see what was right in front of me. Because believing in the fairy tale was easier than admitting it was turning into a nightmare. The weirdness didn't stop. It got worse. She started guarding her phone like it was classified military intel. The screen was always face down. Notifications were turned off. One time I walked past her while she was texting and she literally jumped like I was the boogeyman. I laughed it off at the time. She said, "You scared me." But her face was pale, her hands shaky. There were also those random new clothes in her closet. Sexy stuff she never wore around me. I once asked about a black lace bodysuit I found. Her response? "It's for a boudoir shoot I'm planning. For clients." Right? Except I never saw those pictures. And she never mentioned that shoot again. And then there were the receipts. One afternoon, while cleaning out the car, I found a crumpled receipt from a hotel bar, 2 cocktails, an appetizer, and a room charge. Date: last Thursday. Time: 8:47 p.m. The exact night she told me she was editing at her studio late and grabbing takeout on the way home. I remember just staring at it. That printed piece of paper felt like a punch to the chest. I didn't say anything right away. I put the receipt in my drawer and pretended everything was fine. I don't know why. Maybe part of me hoped there was some stupid explanation. Maybe I wasn't ready to hear the truth. But then came the moment I couldn't ignore. She left her iPad at home one evening. I don't snoop, I swear. But it dinged. A message preview popped up from someone named Marcelo. I shouldn't have tapped it, but I did. Can't stop thinking about last night. Your skin, your laugh, the way you bit your lip. I froze. My throat dried up. My heart started pounding so hard I thought I was going to pass out. There it was. No guessing. No gray area. She was cheating. She was actually cheating. And worst of all, she was still pretending nothing was wrong. That night, I sat across from her at the dinner table, trying to act normal. Whatever normal even means when your entire world just cracked open. She was laughing at some reel on her phone, showing me a video of a dog in sunglasses. Meanwhile, all I could think about was Marcelo's text, the hotel receipt, and how her lipstick that night looked like it was freshly applied. But not for me. I wanted to scream. I wanted to flip the table and ask her who the hell she thought she was. But I couldn't. Not yet. I was still processing. Still hoping I was wrong, even though deep down I knew I wasn't. "Everything okay?" she asked mid-bite, noticing my silence. "Yeah, just tired." I lied. The next few days were a blur. She kept up the act. Cheerful texts during the day, pecks on the cheek before she ran out for work. I studied her like I was watching a stranger. Her patterns, her tone, her body language. It was like seeing her through a different lens. Not as my wife, but as a really good actress. I started putting together a mental timeline. The more I looked back, the more it all made sense. The unexplained absences, the sudden interest in her appearance, the emotional distance. There were so many signs. I had just been too in love, too trusting, too stupid to see them. I talked to a close friend, Leo, someone I trust like a brother. When I told him everything, he didn't even look surprised. "I never wanted to say anything," he said. "But she always had a weird vibe, always felt like she was playing a role. And bro, I saw her a few weeks ago, with some guy, at a cafe near the marina. Looked cozy. That was it. The confirmation I needed. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I was being betrayed by the one person I trusted the most. And I had no idea what to do next. I couldn't take it anymore. I was barely sleeping, barely eating. Every time she touched me, I flinched. Every time she smiled, it made my stomach turn. I knew the truth, and yet she kept pretending, like nothing was wrong. So I waited until a Sunday morning. No work, no excuses, no distractions. She was making coffee in the kitchen, humming like she had no idea I just spent the past week unraveling every lie she ever told me. I sat at the table and said her name calmly. "Isabella? Who's Marcelo?" The cup in her hand froze mid-air. She blinked, once, twice, then laughed. "Who?" she said, like she didn't hear me. "Don't play dumb," I said, my voice starting to crack. "Your iPad was open. I saw the messages. I saw the hotel receipt. I know." That's when the real her showed up. The smile vanished. Her jaw clenched. Her voice turned cold. "You went through my stuff? Are you serious right now?" That's a massive invasion of privacy. I just stared at her. That was her angle? Not denial. Not remorse. Just deflection. "I didn't go through anything," I snapped. It popped up. I saw what I saw. "Are you really going to stand there and pretend this is about me violating your privacy? You've been cheating on me, Isabella." She rolled her eyes. Literally rolled her eyes and said, "It's not what you think." Classic. "It's emotional, not physical," she added quickly. "He's just a friend I talk to when I'm stressed. He gets me. Something you haven't done in months." I laughed. Not because it was funny, but because I couldn't believe how far she was willing to gaslight me. "So you meet your emotional support buddy in hotel rooms?" She turned defensive, loud. "Fine. We kissed. Okay? Once. It was a mistake. I was drunk. It meant nothing. That was lie number 4, just in one conversation." I stood up and walked out of the kitchen before I said something I'd regret. I could hear her behind me saying, "We can fix this. Don't throw away everything over a stupid mistake." But in that moment, I realized something heartbreaking. She wasn't sorry. She was just caught. I didn't leave the house that day. I didn't say much either. I just sat in the living room, staring at the wall, letting the silence scream louder than any argument ever could. She tried to act normal, made lunch, walked around in yoga pants like we were fine. At one point, she even came over, sat next to me, and put her head on my shoulder. "I know I messed up," she whispered. "I didn't move." She sighed, then added, "But you haven't exactly been present either." There it was again, shifting the blame. She couldn't own it. Not fully. She always had to drag me into it somehow. And honestly, that hurt more than the affair. I went to bed early that night, alone. I didn't want to look at her. I lay there thinking about every time I trusted her. Every time she said, "I love you." Every smile, every kiss. All of it felt tainted now. Fake. Dirty. I started doubting myself. Was I boring? Did I stop making her feel wanted? Was I so focused on work that I missed her slipping away? But no. I caught myself. She made a choice. She had 100 other options. Talk to me, suggest therapy, ask for space. But instead, she chose him. A stranger. A guy I didn't even know existed until a message popped up on an iPad she forgot to take with her. The next day, I called in sick. I couldn't face my coworkers with this storm in my head. I needed air, clarity, something. I went for a long walk through our neighborhood. Families were out, kids playing, couples walking hand in hand. And I was there, alone, married, and already mourning someone who was still technically my wife. I ended up on a bench at the park, phone in hand, typing and deleting messages I wanted to send her. In the end, I didn't send anything. There was nothing left to say, at least not then. The next few days were surreal. Isabella suddenly turned into this overly sweet, doting wife. Cooking dinner, folding my laundry, leaving little sticky notes on the mirror like, "I love you, and we're strong." It was pathetic. She wasn't doing it out of love. She was doing it out of fear of consequences. Fear of losing the life she built around my paycheck, my loyalty, and my blind devotion. One evening, she suggested we start fresh. "Let's take a weekend trip," she said. "Reconnect. Just us. Somewhere peaceful." I nearly laughed in her face. Reconnect? After months of lies and sneaking off to hotel rooms with another man? I didn't respond. I think that's what scared her more than yelling ever could. My silence. My emotional detachment. She kept trying though. Crying, hugging me without consent, saying things like, "You're my person. It was just one mistake. Marcelo meant nothing." That name made my skin crawl every time she said it. So one night I said, "If he meant nothing, call him. Right now. On speaker. Tell him it's over and that it was a mistake." She hesitated, tried to change the subject, then snapped, "You're not going to control me like that." Boom. There it was. The mask cracked again. That's when I knew. She wasn't sorry for what she did. She was angry that I wasn't forgiving her fast enough. Angry that I was finally seeing her for who she really was. Later that night, I checked our shared bank account. There were 2 withdrawals in the last month at the same hotel, different dates. Different lies. Same betrayal. She was still seeing him. Even after I confronted her. Even after she cried on cue and begged for another chance. I closed the app, locked my phone, and stared at the ceiling in the dark. She was gone. Not physically, but the woman I loved. She died the moment she chose him over me. A few days later, I made a decision. I didn't tell her. I didn't yell. I didn't even hint at what was coming. I just started quietly packing pieces of my life. Backups of documents, photos, changing passwords, opening a private account. Emotionally, I was already halfway out the door. That weekend, she said she had a collaboration shoot out of town. I nodded, pretended to believe her, and wished her luck. An hour after she left, I followed. No, I'm not proud of it. But I needed truth. I needed the last piece of confirmation before I walked away from 6 years of love, loyalty, and memories. She wasn't even trying to hide it anymore. She wasn't in the city she claimed to be. Her car was parked outside the same hotel from the receipt I'd found before. I sat in my car, heart racing, watching the front entrance. At 9:17 p.m., she came out, holding his hand, laughing, wearing the same dress she once wore to our anniversary dinner. I felt like my chest caved in. She kissed him. She kissed him. In public. Like I didn't exist. Like the life we built together was just some old chapter she'd already tossed in the trash. I didn't confront her. Couldn't. I just drove away. Something inside me cracked that night. It wasn't even rage. It was clarity. Like finally waking up from a long, stupid dream. I went home, packed a single suitcase, took my essentials and left. No note, no goodbye, nothing. By the time she came back 2 days later, I was gone. And for the first time in months, maybe years, I actually felt calm. The messages started almost immediately. First, they were confused. "Where are you? Did something happen? Babe, call me." Then they turned panicked. "You're scaring me. Are you okay? Please talk to me." And then the anger kicked in. "So you're just gonna walk out and ghost me? Wow. This is immature. You're ruining everything over a stupid mistake." I didn't reply to any of them. I rented a small furnished apartment on the other side of the city. Just enough space for me, a mattress, and my dignity. I didn't tell my friends where I was, except for Leo. He brought over beer and stayed the first night just so I wouldn't lose my mind completely. Funny how silence can feel both peaceful and crushing at the same time. Days turned into a week. She called over 30 times. Left voicemails. Long texts filled with excuses, half apologies, emotional manipulation dressed up as affection. She even sent me an old photo of us at the beach, writing, "This still means something, right?" I didn't respond. But the worst was when she showed up at my job. She waited in the parking lot, hair curled, makeup flawless, tears already loaded in her eyes like weapons. "Please, let's just talk." I looked her in the eyes and for the first time felt nothing. No anger, no desire, no pain, just detachment. I said 5 words. "You made your choice. Goodbye." And I walked past her like she was just some stranger asking for directions. A week later, she sent one last message. Long, dramatic, a desperate mix of guilt, nostalgia, and twisted blame. She said things like, "I never meant to hurt you. I was lonely and you were distant. If you had just shown me a little more attention, maybe this wouldn't have happened." Marcelo wasn't even important. It was never about love. And the cherry on top. Don't throw away 6 years because of a few bad choices. I stared at that message for a long time, and then I laughed, out loud, in a sad, bitter, exhausted kind of way, because that's what it came down to for her. A few bad choices, like cheating repeatedly, lying, gaslighting, blaming me, all of it reduced to a mistake she wanted me to erase with forgiveness. She didn't understand. It wasn't just about sex. It wasn't even just about the lying. It was about trust, about loyalty, about the fact that when things got hard, instead of fighting for us, she invited someone else into our marriage. I never responded. The next time I heard about her was from a mutual acquaintance. Apparently, Marcelo ghosted her 2 weeks after I left. She moved out of our house and is trying to find herself. Good luck with that. As for me, I got a lawyer, filed for divorce. No drawn-out drama. No fights over furniture. Just clean, cold closure. I signed the papers, walked out of that office, and felt free. Not happy. Not yet. But free. It's been 4 months since the divorce was finalized. Some days are still hard. I'll be honest, healing isn't linear. There are moments when a song comes on, or I see a couple holding hands, and it hits me like a sucker punch. I gave so much of myself to someone who wasn't even worth my silence. But you know what? I'm starting to feel whole again. I go on walks without thinking about who's texting her. I sleep through the night without wondering if she's lying beside me with a heart somewhere else. I even started journaling, something I never thought I'd do. Turns out writing is cheaper than therapy. I've reconnected with friends I'd neglected, started working out again, even booked a solo trip. Just me, the ocean, and zero drama. As for Isabella, I don't know where she is, and I don't care. She made her choices. I made mine. I don't hate her. I pity her. She threw away something real for something cheap. That's on her. So if you're reading this and you're in that awful in-between, where your gut says something's wrong, but your heart still hopes it isn't, let me say this. Believe your gut. Trust the silence. Pay attention to the patterns. And most of all, love yourself enough to leave. I thought losing her would destroy me, but it turns out walking away saved me. Thanks for sticking through my story. Reddit. If even one person reads this and finds the strength to stand up for themselves, then it was worth it. You're stronger than you think. A man who finally chose peace over pain.